Hi, Lonnie Mackley here. I just want to talk a little bit about profanity, about swearing, cursing, and how to stop using it. Profanity or swearing is really a language of control. It's aggressive control, verbal speech, and we use it for a number of different reasons. And we use it to feel in control of our environment, to feel in control of those around us, and but it's offensive. And the reason that profanity is offensive, or the reason that they call it dirty language, is it evokes, first of all, dirty images in people's minds and hearts, and it causes them to feel what they call defiled or dirty in their spirits or in their hearts. And that's why when you hear somebody speaking really aggressively or abusively, it's very offensive to our spirit, because in all of the hard drives of our hearts, God is loaded in right and wrong, and so when we see or experience wrong, it is offensive to us, at least for a while, till our conscience becomes kind of numb to it, and then it's just like every day. But not everybody's like that. Like if you think that profanity's so right, just go to the grocery store and say the F word every other word and see the kind of reaction you get. Chances are you wouldn't do it, because you know that it is offensive to use that kind of language on a regular basis. But profanity is used for a number of different reasons. Like I said, we use it to feel a sense of control over things. It's if we can dominate something with harsh, aggressive language, we feel in control of it. And frankly, a lot of times it's kind of a trick. But when we start swearing at things, like if you get upset, which most of us do, it tricks us and makes us think that our profanity just helped us to dominate whatever it was, the problem that we were experiencing, when in reality what profanity actually does is it just kind of indicates that we've raised our aggressive level to take care of something. It wasn't the profanity that helped us to overcome the problem. It was that we raised our level of aggression and was able to overcome it. But it gives us that false sense of control that's not really there. We use profanity to protect ourselves. Like in an argument, if you can use aggressive speech towards somebody, calling them names, verbal abuse, those kinds of things, it's very intimidating. It can really hurt their feelings if you take cheap shots at them. And it's a way of protecting ourselves if we feel threatened, and a way of dominating other people. We use it to punish, to take revenge, you stupid blah 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 blank blank blank. And it works for us to a certain degree, but it's very hurtful if you're on the other end of it. Some of us use profanity to keep our hearts hard. There's a lot of things that we don't want to deal with that have happened in our lives, and so we like to stay hard. We like to use language that helps us to keep our heart hard and what we think is protected. If we're aggressive enough, then nobody will come near us, nobody will hurt us, and we can keep all of that other stuff pushed down. And another reason why we tend to use profanity is that evil spirits try to get us to use profanity. They try to take us, they try to get us to take God's name in vain. One of the commandments is you're not supposed to misuse God's names. Well, what do you think evil spirits do? They try to get you to misuse God's names. And what do you think, if you're ever wondering who the real God is, just figure out what evil spirits are trying to get people to do. Well, what kinds of swear words do you think that evil spirits are trying to get people to say? They're not saying, Buddha, damn it. They're saying God, damn it. They're saying Jesus Christ, go to hell, those kinds of things. Well, what they're doing is they know the reality of hell and heaven and God and Jesus Christ, and so they're just trying to get you to pretty much misuse his names and blaspheme and get yourself in trouble. That's why we use things like that. It seems kind of silly that we would say things like that, but that's why we do it. It's because evil spirits are prompting us to do that. So that's why basically we use profanity. There's other reasons too, but it's just mainly, it's a language of control. It's a language of domination, and that's why we use it. But it is, like I said, it's very offensive to people. It's better, if you believe in God or whether you don't, it's better to show people that you trust God to be in control rather than you always trying to control everything with your mouth. And even if you're not a Christian, it's good to learn to show some self-control in how you handle yourself so that people can trust you. If you are constantly using your mouth to dominate everything, people are not going to trust you that much because they can see you're in control and that you won't temper yourself. So let's talk about how to get free from swearing, profanity. Swearing is just making vows. Profanity is using profane or coarse speech. Cursing is cursing people, wishing evil upon them. Things like go to hell or God damn you, those kinds of things. That's like cursing. So to get off, to stop using profanity, there are certain things that you can do, and all of us have had to do this. Like I'll just give a quick example. My problem got so bad that I was playing Jesus in a play one time in this big production, and I went into the kitchen to get a drink out of the fridge, and I guess they were all looking for the Jesus character to pray for him, and as I reached in to get a can of pop, this big dessert splattered out all over the kitchen, and I said the F word when I was in full Jesus costume, and the head of production, I didn't realize it was standing right behind me looking for the Jesus to pray for me. And so that's why profanity is always going to come out at the worst times, and there's always going to be an evil spirit there to make sure that it does. So it's worth dealing with. So let's just get to the how to stop using profanity. For one, get off all drugs that can agitate and aggravate your nervous system. Things like caffeine, anything that hops you up and gives you less control over yourself. Number two, as a transition, you'll have to start using replacement words. Like instead of shits, just say shoot or darn or whatever. And I know it sounds very Ned Flanders to use some of those words, but you have to start somewhere. And so in your mind, think of the words that you normally use when you get upset, and then start replacing it with other words. And then in a while, you won't even have to use the other words. You'll just be calm enough and in control enough where you won't have to, blurt out expletives every time something happens. But use replacement words. Renounce, repent, and ask forgiveness for all past profanity, and bind up any evil spirits. You'd be surprised, how even though you can't see them, and there's not one around every bush, but evil spirits do try to influence us on a daily basis. And once you try to stop using profanity, you've got to break the power of those evil spirits by just renouncing it, just saying, God, I repent of using all forms of profanity. I ask that you forgive me, and now I just bind up any and all evil spirits of profanity from being active in my life. And what you're doing is you're just taking away these evil spirits' landing strips from landing in your life. Another thing you can do is pray when you get mad instead of swear. And once you do this enough, once you learn to pray and ask God's help enough, it's actually going to, you'll actually get real help. Instead of getting yourself in trouble by using the wrong language, you'll get yourself some help. So learn to start praying, because a lot of profanity is born out of a belief that we are not protected. So we're trying to self-protect ourselves with our mouth. So pray whenever there's a problem. Learn to start praying. Even just saying things like, God help me, oh Lord help me, whatever it is. But learn to pray instead of use profanity when you're having a problem. And go through the Bible, use the scriptures that help you to stop using profanity. Things like, we're going to be held accountable for every word that we speak. Do not use any coarse speech. Do not misuse the names of God. Those kinds of things. Just go through the Bible, do a word search on cursing, swearing, whatever it is. And get yourself armed. It's like arming yourself with the truth so that you can overcome the lie. There's a group called Spirit-Led Recovery from Addiction. It's a Yahoo group and also a website, a tripod website of the same. Just type in Lonnie Mackley into the Yahoo browser, and you should be able to find both of those places if you need more help with this. You can stop swearing. It's worth your while. If you do it enough, it's contagious, and other people around you, including your kids, will start doing it, and it'll be hard to tell them to stop if you're doing it yourself. So ask God to help you. Pray and ask God to help you to stop swearing. So I hope this helps you. Remember, go find Spirit-Led Recovery from Addiction. All right? Bye-bye.